Hello, my fellow YouTubers, and I want to wish you a magical 10th anniversary of Merlin. That's right. Today is the 10th anniversary of one of my favorite TV shows ever, BBC's 2008 Merlin. 10 years today, the first episode premiered. I remember when I was a kid seeing it. It was just so fresh. The characters were good. The story was good. The episode was good. The castle was beautiful. There was a lot of good things for this episode to make it promising. And now that one episode became 5 seasons, and even today it's still remembered fondly by fans. So what is this show about? Well, after seeing the success of CW Smallville, BBC wanted to do their own superhero prequel, and that's how you got Merlin, telling the story of how of how Merlin became Merlin, the legendary sorcerer, and his role in the coming of Legend of Arthur. It's We see Merlin as this kind of this cool sorcerer who has to hide his gift in Camelot to make sure he's not seen. For if he is seen, he's going to get his head cut off. It's very cool because he has to pretend to be an idiot in order to protect himself, but really he's one of the smartest guys there is there. It's very cool seeing him in action, seeing him getting through all these problems, kind of like Batman or Doctor Who, a character who stays into the shadows but manages to save the day in the nick of time. We are also introduced to a long list of characters such as King Arthur, who started as a bratty prince who needs to learn to become the once and future king. We see it's nice seeing his story as you see how he's trying to wrestle with his father's legacy, be the king who his father wants him to be, or be the king he wants to be. And we're introduced to Morgana. She's fantastically played by Katie McGrath, as we see her start as this princess, as this kind of princess who's trying to hide a gift of her own. But like Merlin, she's got magical abilities. However, she meets the wrong people, such as her half sister, and slowly she loses this goodness in her, this gracefulness, and becomes this kind of old hag who's bent on this revenge only. We're introduced to the lovely Guinevere, who will become later Queen Guinevere, Arthur's wife. She starts as this servant who has a slight crush on Merlin, but we see her chemistry built up with King Arthur, and it's very lovely done. They're quite a cute couple. And in the end, she does become full-on Queen of Camelot, and it's quite an amazing story seeing her from handmaiden to bloody queen. It's quite a fantastic spectacle. And we're also introduced to King Uther, Arthur's father, the man who's causing Merlin and Morgana to hide their powers, as he has as he's completely vindictive of magic, killing anyone who shows it, whether they be good or evil. He's one of the reasons why this show was interesting. Now, the special effects were quite good. Anytime someone used the magic, their eyes would go yellow, and the CGI on magical creatures such as the dragon or the goblin was very nicely done. You could actually think they looked like a dragon. What else was there? Also, the storytelling. In each episode, you'd have a mixture of humor and drama. Some humor, like Goblin's Goat, was very well done, as we get to see a lot of cheekiness, a lot of funny stuff, and just it's a flat out comedy fest. But we do get some deep episodes, such as To Kill the King, where Merlin has to wrestle with killing King Uther or not. There are some very powerful episodes, and they are acted so very well done. And later on, through the next course of the seasons, we're introduced to a large array of characters. All in all, the show was very lovely to me, and I remember it fondly. It dominated the autumn Saturdays from 2008 to 12. It was very beautifully done. The acting, the photos, everything in it. I remember the show very fondly, and I'm really glad that it's still being remembered by fans. As I do check the fan fiction site, there are still fanfics being posted, and there are video tributes along with it being on Netflix. I really love this show. It's very imaginative, it's very kid friendly, but at the same time it's willing to be mature, and it has left a legacy. As if you go to France, the castle where they filmed, I believe there's a wax figure of the actor who played Merlin. All in all, I really loved the show. It was very good. The characters were well written. The story was well done. I'm glad it was a story about growth. I think that's what the BBC was looking for, and they did it incredibly well. We see how we get invested into these characters. We see what they become later through their choices or the choices of others. There are times when it can be heartbreaking, and there can be times where you can just flat out fall in love with them. Merlin is a wonderful show. I would recommend it to anyone who likes fantasy drama. I hope it does get something for its 10th anniversary. To all my watchers, I hope you have a lovely day and keep the magic a secret.